Hello everyone, Tuesday the 9th of May, hard to believe, 2023. Lovely seeing you all this week. Those that aren't well, get well soon, and those that are on holidays, I really hope that you're enjoying yourself and bring back some sunshine and a little bit of heat in there as well. So we had our BMI machine this week. So BMI basically means the weight that we should be according to our height. So BMI stands for Body Mass Index. So that print off, if we decide to go with the print off, will give you your current weight, your height, and also your current BMI. So the machine gets hired probably again towards the end of the year just to make sure your BMI is coming down. The medical profession classify anything with a BMI, anything of a BMI over 25, they classify as obese, and anything over 30 BMI they classify as morbidly obese. So it is important that we just keep an eye on our BMI, which is why we're all here with Slim for Life, that we're looking after our health, mental health, and also our physical health. I don't want anyone to get too caught up on those figures because you are doing something to make sure that it is coming down, but it is a good little print off to have. Hopefully we don't have to go to hospital to a doctor, but generally they'll ask, what weight you are, what height you are. So that little print off, you have it in your card, or you can put it into your purse, wherever you want to put it, and you have all your figures there. And then, as I said, later in the year you can make sure that your BMI is coming down. And obviously when we lose weight, when you lose 3 pounds, your BMI instantly starts coming down. So it's really important just to be aware of that, because we tend to carry weight around the middle section where it's most dangerous, because that's where all our vital organs are. But we're all doing fantastic. We have 3 more weigh-ins left of May, so it's really important to make the most of those weigh-ins. In those 3 weeks, you're talking at least a half a stone is what's there for the taking. Between 7 to 10 pound is there. We just have to make those changes to see change and make them daily, so it's like a lifestyle change rather than thinking outside the box. So I hope you all enjoyed our food demonstration from last week as well. Next week what we're going to be talking about is food shopping for the food pyramid. So how we can be successful and make sure we have all the right ingredients in and cupboard essentials. But this week we're going to talk about how to tackle belly fat. So that's stubborn part of the belly. As I always say, it'd be great just to go into a butcher, I'm talking about myself, to go into a butcher, when they slice the meat, say stick the belly up there and just cut off what we don't want. But we all have a part of our body that we don't like. The belly is the seat of gravity. Generally it's the last place to go. Weight comes off the body this way. And also if we're after having babies, that adds to the little bit of stubbornness that is there as well. So how we're going to tackle this, so up first is to make sure that we eat plenty of soluble fibre. So basically it absorbs water and forms a gel that helps slow down food as it passes through the digestive system. So that's what soluble fibre does. It also helps you feel full. Research has shown that it helps fight belly fat, and foods that are excellent sources of soluble fibre are flax seeds, Brussels sprouts, avocados and blackberries. So I have to say, more often than not, more often than not, I'd say I would use blackberries in most of the smoothies. Obviously it's hard to get ones that aren't going off so quick. I do find Dunn's in Northside is probably the best around at the moment, and I'm not promoting Dunn's, but that's just where I find is best for myself at the moment for fruit. Your next one is to avoid foods that contain trans fats. So trans fats are just so hard for our bodies to break down. They're created by pumping hydrogen into unsaturated fats, so such as soybean oil. They're found in margarines, they're found in spreads. They're also added to packaged foods. Trans fats is a great preservative. These fats have been linked to inflammation, heart disease, insulin resistant, and abdominal fat gain. So trans fats, where you're really going to see that is, the best example is, say if you're in a supermarket and you take a jar of mayonnaise from the back of the shelf. Generally supermarkets will be up on this, but if you have a little look, maybe one that's at the back, and what you'll see is that the mayonnaise is separated, and at the top of the bottle you'll see like liquid and oil floating in it. That's trans fats, and trans fats are very dangerous to the body because the body just can't break it down. So it's hydrogenating oils at different levels, likes of say if a chipper reheats the same oil, which most do, that is very dangerous and our body just can't break it down. Next is not to drink too much alcohol. Excuse me. So what is too much? So as women, you're allowed 11 units of alcohol a week on the programme. For men, it's 17 units of alcohol a week. So a unit measure is a pub measure, not a house measure, and most alcohol sales, so if you're buying, say, a bottle of wine or a bottle of gin or vodka, Bacardi, whatever it is, on the back of it, under European law, it has to have its unit value on the back, so many units are actually in the bottle. Just be aware if it has an English unit, so you'll see the English flag on it, their measures are different. They call them totes and different things, so just be aware of that. But too much alcohol, it can have health benefits in small amounts, okay, that's what I'm allowed to say. So basically you have your red wine, which is very good for medicinal purposes, but it is seriously harmful if we drink too much, and we know that, okay. But it is an Irish thing. Something good or bad happens, or we have a few drinks and something to eat. I know some of us in the group don't drink, absolutely fine. It is directly linked to belly fat, okay. So because alcohol is so dangerous to the body, so say if we eat when we're drinking alcohol, the body has to deal with what's most dangerous to the body at that particular time. So therefore it stores the food as fat, and it has to tackle the alcohol because that's most dangerous. So sometimes you hear, especially when some people refer to men, that's a beer belly. It's actually not, it's a food belly, because the body has to break down the alcohol first because it is the most dangerous. It significantly increases the risk of developing central obesity if we drink too much alcohol. So fat around the middle, those vital organs. So just to be aware of our alcohol, especially coming into summer, the late nights, maybe sitting out the back garden having a glass of wine, maybe a gin and tonic. Looking forward to that myself. But again, like what we talked about last week, on a serious note, what size is the glass of wine? Like my glass definitely holds 3/4 of a bottle of wine, and that's being honest. But like if I was to put that in a food diary, am I going to put 3/4 of a bottle of wine? Am I going to put down a glass of wine? So that's where the logic really comes in on that. Next thing is to eat more protein. So protein is an extremely important nutrient for weight management, okay? It's very much out there in the gyms, protein shakes. Protein shakes are really only beneficial to men because they have more muscle mass than us as women. I know we have men in the group. High protein intake increases the risk of the fullness hormone. So FYY is that hormone, which decreases appetite and promotes fullness. So basically dietary protein is the best. So like you have your chicken, your turkey, your baked beans, your eggs. Dietary protein is much better than any shakes or protein bars. I want us to really stay away from them. It also raises your metabolic rate. That's what protein does. It helps you retain muscle mass during weight loss, because sometimes as we lose weight, you might say, oh, my skin is a little bit saggy, but that's the muscle actually losing its elasticity, which does happen as we get older as well, the joys of that. But in order to maintain that, and especially some of the ladies in the group would say, the family is saying I'm not losing too much weight, my face has gone a little bit gaunt. That does settle, but in order to let's say prevent that, that CLA, which is found in dietary protein, so meat protein, plumps back up the face. So it's like a natural filler, and it stops that from happening. But it does happen for about a period of 2 to 3 weeks. Then the body balances, and then the face becomes a little bit more plump again. So it raises your metabolic rate. It helps you retain your muscle mass. Medical studies show that people who eat more protein tend to have less abdominal fat. But be sure to include it at every meal, such as meat, fish, eggs, dairy, and your beans. So you have your dairy protein and obviously your meat protein. So protein at every meal would be ideal. So if you're going to have, like this morning I had a flatbread, I had 2 boiled eggs and a little bit of ricotta cheese. So that's the eggs as the protein. For lunch I'm going to have a little bit of tuna. I'll have ricotta, probably flatbread again. And then I'll have cauliflower rice and I'll have chicken. So it's important to have your protein there at every meal. Then your next one is to reduce stress levels. So how are we going to do that when we live in such a stressful world? But stress can make you gain belly fat by triggering the adrenal glands, okay? They produce cortisol, so that hormone. Research has proven high cortisol levels, that stress hormone, increases appetite, okay? And drives abdominal fat storage, which is what we don't want. But it is very hard not to get stressed in the world that we live in. So cortisol, that hormone, when it's running rampant in the body, obviously when we're stressed, we're looking to eat. I know when I'm stressed, I'm looking for chocolate, I'm looking for anything. I'm not even tasting anything when I'm doing it. But it's like something that's going to calm me down, it's going to calm me down. But in fact, it doesn't actually calm down. It actually can make us worse. So it's important just to let that moment settle, and then maybe have a glass of water, maybe have a coffee, but not to turn to food, because that's only adding to those stress levels. Minimizing stress should be one of your priorities while we're trying to lose weight. So it should be a priority, folks. And I really want us to work on that mindfulness, reduce stress. Stress does kill. When I used to hear that kind of in my teens, late teens, and I'd hear my mum saying it to people, stress kills, or she'd say to me, Aunt, I'd say, stress kills, how could stress kill you? But as you get older and life's events, let's say, takes its toll, now I can understand, because we get sometimes so stressed and so highly strung, which is inevitable, and we are only human, but work on ways to minimise that. Then don't eat a lot of sugary foods. Sugar contains fructose, which has been linked to several chronic diseases, such as consumed in excess, which would be heart disease, type 2 diabetes, obesity, fatty liver. So it is important to realise that it's more than just refined sugar that can lead to belly fat. So I really want us to work on that. Don't eat a lot of sugary foods, because sugary foods, obviously the body is going to just store it. And it is found in everything, fructose, lactose. So it begins with an OSE. So sometimes products say no added sugar or sugar free, but look at the ingredients, and if there's ingredients that have OSE in it, that is a form of sugar. So you have fructose, lactose, they're your main ones to watch out for. Number 7 then would be to do some cardio. So it's one of the most effective forms of exercise to tackle belly fat is cardio. So it's a lot out there about lifting weights and different things. From my point of view and from my training, cardio is the best. So a good walk, hands above the heart, up and down the stairs, maybe a treadmill, maybe a bike, an exercise bike. just to get that heart rate increase. That's when we start burning calories, and especially for tummy fat. So we'll be showing this exercise in the class as well, and I might do a little video on it later on as well. Watch your carb intake, so make sure we're keeping it between 3 to 4 carbs a day. Know when to pull back. So no more than 4 carbs a day and no less than 3, to really watch that, folks, because carbs is the one that puts on weight, and especially around the middle, because our bodies find it hard to break it down. Avoid sugar sweetened drinks, okay? So they are loaded with liquid fructose, which can make you gain belly fat, increase fat in their liver as well. So sugary beverages appear to be even worse than sugary foods. So to watch for those sugary drinks. Since your brain doesn't process liquid calories the same way it does solid ones. Okay, so just be aware of the sugar sweetened drinks. Get more rest. People who don't get enough sleep tend to gain more weight, especially fat around the middle. Our next then is to track your food intake and exercise. Helps monitor week to week, and also means that I can give you feedback when we keep a diary. It is why you pay your money, and it is why I do loads of training so that I can help and assist. Eat fatty fish every week, so your omega-3 fats, so you have your salmon, herring, sardines, mackerel and anchovies are very good. Apple cider vinegar, very good for blood sugar levels, to help them to maintain, basically. Then change your lifestyle and combine different foods and spices. So it's really important that we're eating plenty of food with loads of colour, obviously the right food, loads of colour, textures, aromas. The spices are really there to help make your food interesting and to make this a lifestyle change, folks. This is for life. It's not just we lose the weight and then it's gone. Unfortunately, it's not gone. It will come back unless we monitor it. So I want us all to have a great week. Let's all stay safe, and we'll see less of each other next week. And as I mentioned, next week is food shopping for the food pyramid. Well done to everyone. Fantastic weight loss. Great results this week. Back on it. 3 more weeks in May to make a difference. Let's make change to see change. Have a good one, folks. Big hugs.